So, I want to talk about this song that I wrote called Tokyo. It seems to be very popular. I even get requests for it when I'm playing live with 44U. Anyways, it was written, I was living in Los Angeles at the time, and I was actually working for Motown Video Productions down on Sunset and Vine. And one weekend I took a little trip out to Little Tokyo in Los Angeles, downtown Los Angeles. And I was walking around, and I've always been a big aficionado of Japanese culture. A lot of it is in my fine art, a lot of influence from Japan, and I love all the great Japanese artists and whatnot. So, I went down to little Tokyo, never been down there before, hung out, walked around. And then while I was walking around, I looked into this door, and there was this big long bar, and it was kind of a little bit dark in there, right? And there was nobody in there. It was like, late in the afternoon. And here was this, well, I won't say older, I'll say like middle-aged Japanese woman sitting at the bar. She was having a drink, and just that little snippet, walking by, seeing her there, I went home. A couple days later, I wrote this song, because in my mind, she looked like a prostitute. Now, she was probably the owner of the bar, and probably had 3 kids and a husband, and was just hanging out. I'm sure that's probably the case, but in my imagination, I thought, okay, she's an aging lady of the night, all right, hanging out, having a drink, which is much more akin to using my imagination. So I wrote the song about her as a lady of the night, and that's how I came up with the song Tokyo. Now, I'm not one to write literal lyrics. Basically I'm a poet. And, I'm not putting literal lyrics down or anything. There's a lot of great music that's written with literal lyrics. But, having grown up listening to people like Bob Dylan and Crosby, Stills and Nash, those were lyrics. So let me explain to you what those lyrics are, okay? So the first verse is, I see your face and your shadow running across the west, which has to do with, at one time, the Japanese had a big influence in the United States, culturally and financially and whatnot. So that's where I got that line. Your dark eyes are shining like black pearls in their nest. So that's just an alliteration. That's a very nice image of Japanese woman. And then, so the next verse says, the green walls surround you with their hard-edged silver gleam. So that was just an image that I picked out of the air, because I was trying to imagine what kind of environment this woman lived in. And of course, green is a very significant color in Japanese culture. It's the color of jade. And that's how I came up with the green walls surround you. With their hard-edged silver gleam, which is a reference to the line, the aesthetic line that Japanese artists maintain in their painting, especially Hokusai. Hokusai has these amazing, lines in his painting, which he got from woodblock printing, which is a much more precise sort of medium than like oil painting, right? So that's where I got the green walls surround you with their hard-edged silver gleam. Words upon the midnight, says the wind, your time to dream. Right? So we're talking about somebody whose life is not that exciting anymore. The luster has sort of faded. So that's where that came from, because the idea of dreams comes up, you know, when you're kind of bored and you're looking for something else, you know. And then the next line is beggars in the street are painted stones marked with time. So that's just a reference to the people at that time. There weren't as many homeless people, but there were homeless people even in little Tokyo. And the whole idea of painted stones also comes from Japanese art. Stones are very important, as you know, if you've been to Japan, you can, or, you know, elsewhere, where there's Japanese culture, you'll notice that there's a lot of stone involved. There's a lot of like Zen gardens are made with stone and sand. So stone is very significant. So beggars in the street are painted stones marked with time. The pond beneath your window ripples troubles from your mind. So the pond, of course, is very significant in any kind of Japanese horticulture. There's ponds, right? So the idea that it's rippling troubles from your mind, it's soothing, you know, your emotions, soothing her emotions about where she is in life. And so that's that. That's the whole first three verses. I see your face and your shadow run across the west. Your dark eyes are smiling, are shining like black pearls in their nest, right? That's the first verse. So those three verses, and then there's a solo break, and then I come back with, I see your face and your shadow running across the wall. Okay? So now I'm imagining her in a room later in the evening, right? I see your face and your shadow running across the wall. There's no one besides you as the cool day fills the hall. So it's a little bit about loneliness. Maybe she doesn't, you know, if she is a lady of the night, it's a night where she doesn't have a customer or whatever, you know. But that line is about loneliness. And then I get a little literal, admittedly, when I go into, I see you at the long bar, dark hair falling around your shoulders. Your white cheeks are powdered and your dark lips pursed and dry. Okay, so I'm going into this description of the classic Japanese beauty, right? Which she still could be, you know. And then what's the last line? No time to think it over as those years were passing by, right? And then the next line is, cast a gold, golden bracelets cast a glimmer in your eye. Okay, so she's given up a certain amount of her lifetime for, essentially that's a metaphor, you know, the golden bracelet or the gold or the financial gain, right? So that is the whole song. There's three verses, then there's a lead break, and then there's three more verses and out. So as you can see, it's very metaphorical, it's very poetic, it's very descriptive, it moves from one scene to another. So there's a lot of movement in those lyrics. And of course, the chorus is one word, Tokyo, right? So that just kind of drives it home, like the nail in the head, you know, hitting the nail on the head. It starts with girl, and then it says Tokyo, right? So it's not Tokyo girl, it's girl Tokyo. So I've reversed those words because it's far more interesting and it sets up a contrast in the chorus of the song, right? Creates a little tension that is then resolved by a stop and then a movement back into the riff, the chord riff. So, and what I really like about the song too is that it's a jam song, right? So the drummer, the bass player, the guitar player, anybody can just go off on it any way they want, you know. And so that's the story behind that song Tokyo, which is become pretty popular with people when we play live. But a lot of times people don't listen so much to the lyrics. They're more into the music, so the lyrics kind of get lost. So I just wanted to bring those to light. I've written many songs, and by and large, I don't write bad songs. I write very good songs. I will write funny songs, right? But I don't write bad songs. So I'll be doing some more of these videos about my original material as we get into performing that, and I'll be explaining lyrics and that sort of thing. So anyways, I'm signing off. Trace Perot, now appearing live with 44U. The next gig we have is we're doing 420 at Josanna's, which is going to be great. I'm sure there's going to be tons of people there, and it's a 7-piece band, so we're going to make a big big mark on the music thing down there, and we're going to have a lot of fun. That's Easter Sunday, 420. I have no idea what time it starts, but we'll probably be playing for at least 3 hours. So anyways, adios.